All right, everyone, we will be reading The Hobbit, Chapter 7, Queer Lodgings. Man, Tolkien really likes to use the word queer. This isn't his first time saying it, and this isn't his second, this isn't his third, this is his, fifth time. Maybe you can even push for 7. What does queer mean again? It means gay, right? I'm sorry. I don't know what it means. Let's go find out. Because I don't use that term for anything. It means an umbrella term for people who are not cisgender or heterosexual. I don't know what cisgender is. I don't know what that is. It's someone who doesn't have sex, right? Heterosexual means you like the opposite. I was gonna say race. You like the opposite gender, I believe. So, okay. But what's a cisgender? Because I just don't know why he keeps calling Bilbo queer. He's calling literally Bilbo. He keeps calling Bilbo queer. It means a person's identity matches their sex sign at birth. Wait. So if I was born as a guy, and I say I'm a guy, I'm cisgender? Alright. I didn't know that. I thought that just meant I was a guy. We'll move on. It's just, it's interesting. I don't know how Tolkien is trying to use the word queer. I only bring it up because it's kind of frequent, and I don't care. But you could try maybe using a different word if you like. So if he's gonna keep using it, I gotta research the word, and so I did, and that was crazy. I didn't know that's what cisgender meant. Oh my goodness, I don't get it. I thought that just meant you were straight. I'm getting a phone call. We're gonna hang up. All right, the chapter is literally called that. That's absolutely insane. Let me drink my coffee and we'll begin. I'm so excited. This is a good book, nothing wrong with it. We'll move on. Ah, man. All right. Let's do this, kids. Oh, look. Protesters gather on Las Vegas Strip. Oh, I'm sorry. It's because I live in Vegas and I just got a news notification. I got to check that out after. All right. I'm so excited. Let's do this, baby. Chapter 7. Queer Lodgings. The next morning, Bilbo woke up with the early sun in his eyes. He jumped up to look at the time and to go and put his kettle on, and found he was not home at all. So he sat down and wished in vain for a wash and a brush. He did not get either, nor tea, nor toast, nor bacon for his breakfast, only cold mutton and rabbit. And after that he had to get ready for a fresh start. This time he was allowed to climb onto an eagle's back and cling between his wings. The air rushed over him and he shut his eyes. Wait. Oh, interesting. The dwarves were crying farewells and promising to repay the Lord of the Eagles if ever they could. As off rose 15 great birds from the mountainside. The sun was still close to the eastern edge of things. The morning was cool, and mists were in the valleys and hollows and twined here and there about the peaks and pinnacles of the hills. Bilbo opened an eye to peep and saw that the birds were already high up and the world was far away. And the mountains were falling back behind them into the distance. Where are they going? I guess towards the Misty Mountains. We're through the Misty Mountains, right? I don't remember. He shut his eyes again and held them tighter. "Don't pinch," said the eagle. "You need not to be frightened like a rabbit, even if you look rather like one. It is a fair morning with a little wind. What is finer than flying?" Bilbo would have liked to say, a warm bath and late breakfast on the lawn afterwards, but he thought it better to say nothing at all, and to let go his clutch just a tiny bit. After a good while, the eagles must have seen the point they were making for, even for their great height, for they began to go down circling round in great spirals. Wait. After a good while, the eagles must have seen the point they were making for, even from their great height, for they began to go down, circling round in great spirals. They did this for a long while, and at last the hobbit opened his eyes again. The earth was much nearer, and below them were trees that looked like oaks and elms, and wide grasslands, and a river running through it all. But cropping out of the ground, right in the path of the stream which looped itself about it, was a great rock, almost a hill of stone, like a last outpost of the distant mountains, or a huge piece cast miles into the plain by some giant among giants. Quickly now, to the top of this rock, the eagles swooped one by one and set down their passengers. "Farewell," they cried, "wherever you fare, till your eyries receive you at the journey's end." This is the polite thing to say among eagles. "May the wind under your wings bear you where the sun sails and the moon walks," answered Gandalf, who knew the correct reply. That was a crazy ass response. I wish someone would tell me that. "May the wind under your wings bear you where the sun sails and the moon walks." Thank you. And so they parted. And though the Lord of the Eagles became in after day... Man, I'm still thinking about how Lord of the Eagles was introduced. That was crazy. It literally went, oh no, they're about to die. The wolves are about to eat them. And then it goes, said the Lord of the Eagles appeared under black moonlight. I was like, whoa. That was awesome, bro. That was awesome. Hey, if you like my video, if I get 4 likes down the line, I'll do all the Wheel of Time. I'll read all the Wheel of Time out loud. Let's move on, baby. Let me drink my coffee. You want me to read Wheel of Time? You want me to skip the slog? I know about the slog. Where are we? And though the Lord of the Eagles became in after the days and so they parted. And though the Lord of the Eagles became in after days the king of all birds, and wore a golden crown, and his 15 chieftains golden collars, made of the gold that the dwarves gave them, Bilbo never saw them again, except high and far off in the battle of 5 armies. Ooh, that's epic! I know about the battle of the 5 armies! That was an epic battle. Come on, bro. Like, that's so cool. Who were the 5 armies? The orcs. The other ones. I don't want to spoil it. And then we had those guys. And then I can't remember. Oh, I know the one more. And then the last one, I could never remember who was the 5th army. I would have to rewatch it. But we're reading it, so. But as that comes in at the end of this tale, we will say no more about it just now, baby. Oh. Tolkien, you devil, why are you teasing me? He's teasing me. I'm at work, boy. I'm gonna get fired for yelling. I'm gonna get fired for reading The Hobbit. Isn't that crazy? Alright, I'm still on page 2 of chapter 7. Where are we? There was a flat space on the top of the hill of stone, and a well-worn path with many steps leading down it to the river, across which a ford of huge flat stones led to a grassland beyond the stream. There was a little cave, a wholesome one with a pebbly floor, at the foot of the steps and near the end of the stony ford. Here the party gathered and discussed what was to be done. I always meant to see you all safe, if possible. These pages are thick. Over the mountains, said the wizard, and now by good management and good luck I have done it. Indeed, we are now a good deal further east than I ever meant to come with you. For after all this is not my adventure. I may look on it again before it is all over. But in the meanwhile, I have some other pressing business to attend to. No way! Gandalf is leaving! The dwarves groaned and looked most distressed, and Bilbo wept. They had begun to think Gandalf was going to come all the way and would always be there to help them out of difficulties. I am not going to disappear this very instant, said he. I can give you a day or two more. Probably I can help you out of your present plight, and I need a little help myself. We have no food, and no baggage, and no ponies to ride, and you don't know where you are. Now I can tell you that you are still some miles north of the patch which we should have been following. If we had not left the mountain pass in a hurry, very few people live in these. Now I can tell you that you are still miles north of the patch which we should have been following. If we had not left the mountain pass in a hurry, very few people live in these parts unless they have come here since I was last down this way, which is some years ago. But there is somebody that I know of who lives not far away. That somebody made the steps on the great rock. The Carrock, I believe he calls it. He does not come here often, certainly not in the daytime, and it is no good waiting for him. In fact, it would be very dangerous. We must go and find him, and if all goes well at our meeting, I think I shall be off, and wish you like the eagles. Farewell, wherever you fare, bruh! I was just saying that I wish he said that to me. I don't know. It's not a big deal. But that was cool. That was a cool line. I love Gandalf's dialogue. It's nice. They begged him not to leave them. They offered him dragon gold and silver and jewels. But he would not change his mind. We shall see, he said. And I think I've earned already some of your dragon gold when you have got it. That was so funny. After that, they stopped pleading. Then they took off their clothes and bathed in the river, which was shallow and clear and stony at the ford, which they had dried in the sun, which was now strong and warm. They were refreshed, if still sore and a little hungry. Soon they crossed the ford, carrying the hobbit, and then began to march through the long green grass and down the lines of the wide-armed oaks and the tall elms. And why is it called a carrock? Asked Bilbo as he went along at the wizard's side. He called it the carrock because carrock is the word for it. He calls things like that carrocks, and this one is the carrock because it is the only one near his home and he knows it well. Who calls it? Who knows it? The somebody I spoke of, a very great person. You must all be very polite when I introduce you. I shall introduce you slowly, 2 by 2, I think, and you must be careful not to annoy him, or heaven knows what will happen. He can be appalling when he is angry, though he is kind enough if humored. Still, I warn you, he gets angry easily. The dwarves all gathered round when they heard the wizard talking like this to Bilbo. Is that the person you are taking us to now? They asked. Couldn't you find someone more easy-tempered? Hadn't you better explain it all a bit clearer, and so on? Yes, it certainly is. No, I could not. And I was explaining very carefully, answered the wizard crossly. If you must know more, his name is Born. He is very strong and he is a skin changer. What? A furrier? A man that calls rabbits conies when he doesn't turn their skins into squirrels? Asked Bilbo. Good gracious heavens. No, said Gandalf. Don't be a fool, Mr. Baggins, if you can help it. That's funny. And in the name of all wonder, don't mention the word furrier again as long as you are within 100 miles of his house. Nor rug, cape, tippet, muff, nor any other such unfortunate word. He is a skin changer. He changes his skin. Sometimes he is a huge black bear. Sometimes he is a great, strong, black-haired man with huge arms and a great beard. I can't tell you much more, though that ought to be enough. Some say that he is a bear descended from the great and ancient bears of the mountains that lived there before the giants came. Others say that he is a man descended from the first men who lived before Smaug or the other dragons came into this part of the world, and before the goblins came into the hills out of the north. I cannot say, though I fancy the last is the true that tell. He is not the sort of person to ask questions of. At any rate, he is under no enchantment but his own. He lives in the oak wood and has a great wooden house, and as a man he keeps cattle and horses which are nearly as marvelous as himself. They work for him and talk to him. He does not eat them, neither does he hunt or eat wild animals. He keeps hives and hives of great fierce bees, and lives most on cream and honey. As a bear he ranges far and wide. I once saw him sitting all alone on the top of the Carrick at night, watching the moon sinking towards the misty mountains. And I heard him growl in the tongue of bears. The day will come when they will perish and I shall go back. This is why I believe he once came from the mountains himself. I hope you all like that. That's my best bear man impression that you're gonna get. Bilbo and the dwarves had now plenty to think about, and they asked no more questions. They still had a long way to walk before them. Up slope and down dale they plodded. It grew very hot. Sometimes they rested under the trees, and then Bilbo felt so hungry that he would have eaten acorns if any had been ripe enough yet to have fallen to the ground. It was the middle of the afternoon before they noticed that great patches of flowers had begun to spring up, all the same kinds growing together as if they had been planted. Especially there was clover, waving patches of coxcomb clover and purple clover, and wide stretches of short, white, sweet, honey-smelling clover. There was a buzzing and a whirring and a droning in the air. Bees were everywhere, busy, and such bees. Bilbo had never seen anything like them. If one was to sting me, he thought, I should swell up as big again as I am. They were bigger than hornets. The drones were bigger than your thumb, a good deal. And the bands of yellow on their deep black bodies shone like fiery gold. We are getting near, said Gandalf. We are on the edge of the beef pastures. What does drone even mean? I thought a drone was like a drone, like a mechanical machine, and there's no way that existed during Tolkien's time. There's no fucking way. When was Tolkien born? J.R.R. Tolkien. Damn, he lived a long time. When did the first drone come out? A drone means a low continued humming. Interesting. I didn't know that. So, first drone ever made was 1935. Oh, wow. That's cool. By Nikola Tesla? What? I didn't know that. That's crazy. 1892? Is that what that said? But that's the 1898. Anyway, drone means humming sound. 19. Oh yeah, he knows what a drone is. Alright, we'll move on. I'm over here trying to dumb him down. Man, I know where we're going in the book. I know who we're about to meet. I know who the bear man is. I've seen the movie. Alright. It's 11 a.m. Let's do this. Where are we? They still had a long... Okay. It grew very hot. Sometimes they rested under... Oh, I already read that. After a while, they came to a belt of tall and very ancient oaks, and beyond these to a high thorn hedge, through which you could neither see nor scramble. You had better wait here, said the wizard to the dwarves, and when I call or whistle, begin to come after me. You will see the way I go, but only in pairs, mind. About 5 minutes between each pair of you. Bomber is fastest, and we'll do for 2. He had better come alone at last. Come on, Mr. Beckins. There is a gate somewhere around this way. And with that he went off along the hedge, taking the frightened hobbit with him. They soon came to a wooden gate, high and broad, beyond which they could see gardens and a cluster of low wooden buildings, some thatched and made of unshaped logs, barns, stables, sheds, and a long, low wooden house. Is that a regular eagle? Yeah, I see. There's a picture in my book, and I don't know if that's a big eagle or not. Inside on the... That's crazy. They talk like that too? I don't think their vocal cords are supposed to do that. Inside on the southward side of the great hedge were rows and rows of hives with bell-shaped tops made of straw. The noise of the giant bees flying to and fro and crawling in and out filled all the air. The wizard and the hobbit pushed open the heavy creaking gate and went down a wide track towards the house. Some horses, very sleek and well-groomed, trotted up across the grass and looked at them intently with very intelligent faces. Then off they galloped to the buildings. "They have gone to tell him of the arrival of strangers," said Gandalf. Soon they reached a courtyard, 3 walls of which were formed by the wooden house and its 2 long wings. In the middle there was lying a great oak trunk with many lopped branches beside it. Standing near was a huge man with a thick black beard and hair, and great bare arms and legs with knotted muscles. Oh, fuck. He was clothed in a tunic of wool down to his knees and was leaning on a large axe. The horses were standing by him and their noses at his shoulder. "Ah, here they are," he said to the horses. "They don't look dangerous. You can be off." He laughed, a great rolling laugh, put down his axe and came forward. "Who are you and what do you want?" he asked gruffly, standing in front of them and towering tall above Gandalf. Damn, he's taller than Gandalf in the book too. As for Bilbo, he could easily have trotted through his legs without ducking his head to miss the fringe of the man's brown tunic. Ew. "I am Gandalf," said the wizard. "Never heard of him," growled the man. "And what's this little fellow?" he said, stooping down to frown at the hobbit with his bushy black eyebrows. I can't believe he doesn't even know him. Gandalf is intruding in this man's house, bro. "That is Mr. Baggins, a hobbit of good family and unimpeachable reputation." "That is Mr. Baggins, a hobbit of good family and unimpeachable reputation," said Gandalf. Bilbo bowed. He had no hat to take off and was painfully conscious of his many missing buttons. "I am a wizard," continued Gandalf. "I have heard of you, if you have not heard of me. But perhaps you have heard of my good cousin, Radagast, who lives near the southern borders of Mirkwood?" "Yes." "Not a bad fellow, as wizards go, I believe." "I used to see him now and again," said Born. "Well, now I know who you are and who you say you are." "What do you want?" "To tell you the truth, we have lost our luggage and nearly lost our way and are rather in need of help, or at least of advice. I may say we have had rather a bad time with goblins in the mountains." "Goblins," said the big man less gruffly. "Oh, ho, so you've been hearing trouble with them, have you? What did you go near them for?" We did not mean to. They surprised us at night in a pass which we had to cross. We were coming out of the lands over west into these countries." "It is a long tale." "Then you had better come inside and tell me some of it, if it won't take all day," said the man, leading the way through a dark door that opened out of the courtyard into the house. That opened out of the courtyard into the house? I write, so I pay attention to the way people, authors be writing certain things, and that's a very nice, that's an original way to write something, about how a door opens outwards, going inside the house. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. No, yeah. I don't think I ever really described what how a door opens in a book. I've written only one book. It's not released. I'm still editing it, kids. All right, let's move on. Where are we? Following him, they found themselves in a wide hall with a fireplace in the middle. Though it was summer, there was a wood fire burning and the smoke was rising to the blackened rafters in search of the way out through an opening in the roof. They passed through this dim hall, lit only by the fire and the hole above it, and came through another smaller door into a sort of veranda propped on wooden posts made of single tree trunks. It faced south and was still warm and filled with the light of the westering sun, which slanted into it and fell golden on the garden full of flowers that came right up to their steps. That's pretty. Let me reread that real quick. I don't know what a veranda is. Hold on. No, not the restaurant. Damn it. A roof platform along the outside of a house, level with the ground floor. I'll be on the veranda. I don't know what that looks like. Oh, yo. Ooh, that's pretty. I know what a veranda is. Alright, boys. I think we can move on. Here they sat on wooden benches while Gandalf began. Oh, there's 2 pictures in this chapter. His tail. And Bilbo swung his dangling legs and looked at the flowers in the garden, wondering what their names could be, as he had never seen half of them before. I was coming over the mountains with a friend or two, said the wizard. Or 2. I can only see 1. And a little one at that, said Born. Well, to tell you the truth, I did not like to bother you with a lot of us until I found out if you were busy. I will give a call if I may. Go on, call away. So Gandalf gave a long shrill whistle, and presently Thorin and Doran came round the house by the garden path and stood bowing low before them. 1 or 3 you met, I see, said Born. But these are hobbits, they are dwarves. Thorin Oakenshield at your service. Dory at your service, said the 2 dwarves, bowing again. I don't need your service, thank you, said Born. But I expect you need mine. I am not over fond of dwarves, but if it is true you are Thorin, son of Thrain, son of Thror, I believe, and that your companion is respectable, and that you are enemies of goblins and not are up to any mischief in my lands. What are you up to, by the way? They are on their way to visit the land of their fathers, away east beyond Mirkwood, put in Gandalf, and it is entirely an accident that we are in your lands at all. We were crossing by the high pass that should have brought us to the road that lies to the south of your country, when we were attacked by the evil goblins, as I was about to tell you. Go on telling then, said Born, who was never very polite. So this is Born's hall. That's a nice hall. Bro, he has his house. His house is being supported by 3 pillars. That's cool. There was a terrible storm. The storm giants were out. Trying to turn the page. Hurling rocks at the head of the pass, we took refuge in a cave. The Hobbit and I, and several of our companions. Do you call 2 several? Well, no. As a matter of fact, there were more than 2. Where are they? Killed? Eaten? Gone home? Well, no. They don't seem all to have come when I whistled. Shy, I expect. You see, we are very much afraid that we are rather a lot for you to entertain.